We're so happy to have you join us here.
Yeah, thank
The
you.
gang's all here. This is good.
We're all here. Woo.
All right. Well, I was excited to get to talk to you about this because there's just so much going on here. I mean, of course, there's the entertainment value, but there's also a lot being said here, and these kind of things are fun to just kind of put out there in the world too, because they're like, all right, we're gonna get them right. So,
Yeah,
Robin,
very excited
putting
to hear
this
what you have
putting this
to
up.
ask.
Hmm.
Also, I love your paintings in the back.
Thanks
I
so
was
much.
commenting
Yeah,
on those too. Yeah.
So cool.
yeah. Try and make it a little bit more colorful.
Yeah. Mission accomplished. It's so fun.
Thanks. Yeah. But Robin, putting something out there like this in the world is fun because like we were saying, the discussions are interesting with people because it's not just, straightforward narrative content. You're putting things in there that are, you know, good to talk about later, right?
Right, right. I just think, living in Los Angeles for well over 20 years, and I started as an actress, but I sort of always wanted to be a writer and director, and so was headed in that direction. But, you go through so much and so many dark moments and people, and, it's just natural for me now to kind of draw from those experiences um, and I'm lucky to be able to interpret them through filmmaking. So that's kind of where the genesis of this came from.
Yeah, there's a wealth of content and stories there.
Oh my
Not
God.
always good, but you
There's
got so
not
much
enough
to work with.
time in the world to like all the weird stuff that happens in that town. So
Yeah. And so, Willow and Dare, when you hear about something like this, you must think, you get to read it and think about being in it. You just think, oh, I got to do this, right?
Jared, do you want to go first?
Sure,
Okay.
yeah.
I thought you started talking, so I was like, okay.
I was still processing the question a little bit. Gosh, yeah. First reading the script, I just felt this sense of familiarity just because the character is very similar to where I was when I first started in this industry, where she felt like she was very tough and can take care of herself. And in reality, yes, she is, but also she still has this soft delicateness to her that makes her open and almost like vulnerable in a way. But I felt like I could really relate to her in that sense of wanting to trust and see the good in everyone. And ultimately that being a little bit of a mistake, but also the journey that she has to go through to learn about vulnerability and about being open to people. So reading the script, I knew I had to audition for this role. I was going through some personal things at the time, and any other script I would have passed off, to be honest, because I was dealing with a lot of my own Hollywood drama. And I'm so glad that Robin wrote it the way that she did, and she sent the scenes that she did because it just clicked for me. And I'm so glad I took the chance and risked it and sent in a tape and then got to do a read with Willow in person, because taking a chance on something you truly believe in really can change your life.
Hmm. Well said. And for you, Willow, you saw this and you thought, let's do this, right?
I agree. I can't say that like deep down I relate as much just because it's such like a complex dark character. However, I do relate a lot to just the mental health struggles she goes through. And in my family, like I've I've people very close to me have shared similar stories. And so there was a lot of just like backstory, especially around just kind of like the mental illness involvement of it. Again, coming with like a wealth of experience in that regard with my own family. And it was just something that like I really wanted to help bring to life. And like Robin wrote it so like she really did justice to it. And it was the same thing as like it just came at a time in my life where it was like, okay, like I I want to also show that there's like more than just what meets the eye to this one character, because there is
Hmm.
more. Same with Jared's character, and being given such like almost like a challenge like that, it's like as an actor, that's like the best thing you could ever ask for.
Yeah. Well, we're complicated creatures and in a complicated world. And as my friend
What?
likes to
No
say,
way.
yeah.
People
we're
We're not like
humans.
complicated.
2D.
We're humans, and humans human. They do things that don't always make sense, and don't always make sense to ourselves. So, but also people relate to these kind of characters because there's a lot more people that probably can than can't now, right?
Absolutely. Also, just having more conversations. Sorry, Jay. I was
No,
gonna
go for
say,
it. Go for it.
having it be more of a conversation, just overall what people are going through and their own like internal struggles, and also in the sense of like kind of breaking down the barrier, what's a cliche or what like a stereotype is for someone. I think like again, like a lot of like Robin's movies are all about like tackling like it's like the real LA story or the real story of a female and just like getting to like really the heart of what that is, even though it's not always super great.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off that. We talked a lot about like relatability with characters. And to some extent, I feel like there's always with the characters that you really are excited to play, there's always even just like the tiniest bit of that character already in you, or like a part of them or an archetype of them that you can pull and relate to. Just because,
Mhm.
like we had said, people are so layered and the choices they make we'll never understand. And sometimes the choices we make as people, we don't know why we made the choice that we did. But I think specifically with these two characters, although Willow isn't a carbon copy of her character, I would bet money that she has been through something that she could put herself in her character's shoes and be like,
Mhm.
you know what? I haven't done that, but I know what that feels like. And I think that's why people love this film so much. Like, we keep getting compliments on every platform. And I think it truly comes down to really good writing, really good casting, and honesty and vulnerability.
Mhm. Well, yeah, because some of the, it's not like I was saying, a part of it looked pretty fun to make, but there's also a lot of things that were tough to make, and you have to put yourself in the right, headspace to do all this stuff. So, would you say overall, you made it the best experience you could? Like, how do you get in that right mindset where like, okay, this is gonna be a tough day?
That's a
I
pretty
think
good question. So you two go for that because that's really, I mean, for
Mhm.
me, I'm it's tough for me, but it's way they have to pull those emotional places and I have to make
Mhm.
sure that they get there, which they did. So for you guys, that could be difficult for sure. And you both got there. So
I'd say for me personally, um, Dare touched on this is like, yeah, I also was going through an extremely hard time when we went through filming. And so like there were those emotions to pull from. But in order to do that and also be able to like snap back and like still live like a normal day and normal life, it's like having a comfortable environment that you feel safe in with like a casting crew that you like respect and respects you, and also that they're aware of the scene you're doing, like they're aware of like the place you need to go for that, and everyone's extremely accommodating, and when you have that like that trust, it gives you that freedom to just go to that place and also come out of it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think Willow hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what I was going to say, the trust. Because despite what we are going through as people, we're hired to act and to be on the set and to be professional. But also, as a director, depending upon the scene, you're asking a lot for the actors to put themselves in. Like, this is a dark drama for a reason. And just having the trust and the vulnerability that whatever you have to do to get to that place, whether it's talking through a story. I know there was one scene where Robin had to sit through me talking through a moment in my childhood to kind of help
Mhm.
get me into that lower level and being more open and more vulnerable. And it really helped the depth of the scene. So it's trusting that when you fall, the crew and the director will be there to catch you. And I can't applaud Robin enough on being an
good.
amazing
That was a
director.
really poignant moment during the shooting. I really appreciated that you went there and trusted me because we really talked through a lot of hard things. I appreciate that you trusted me and we got there and it really worked because it's you feel your pain in that moment. So yeah, we did a lot of that and I think it paid off. Even though it's hard, it's hard to go there for everybody. because it's, you
So
don't
when
want to see someone in pain.
Yeah.
no, so when people see this and they find inspiration from it from each of you, what kind of advice would you give to someone who wants to jump in and tell these kind of stories that people not only find entertaining, but they get something as well out of it?
I mean, I would say as a filmmaker, as a writer, it's most important to be honest and
Mm-hmm.
to pull from those places of truth and reality in your own life or people's life that you're close to, and just maintain that level of, like I said, honesty and authenticity, and because that's what how people connect, is they connect when they see something that they can relate to in their own life. And I think that that's why these movies are resonating with audiences.
I would also, I'm so sorry about my dog.
We have dogs, cats, everything.
I know there's so much going on.
I know, construction.
I was like, about to like deliver like a dark monologue. I mean, I agree. I think an actor's best asset is honestly like being vulnerable, because there's truth in that, and being able to like it's mode of expression where you could channel your own past experiences or where you're currently going through, but also being very present in the moment that you're in, being in that scene, being in that character, and just like I always believe that the audience could tell if like you're actually in it or if you're not. There's a difference between like faking it acting or actually like acting it and like living that experience. And again, the best thing you could do for that is just it's to be vulnerable and like to truly become and be in that scene that you're designated for.
Yeah, I will kind of piggyback off of both of what they said. I think for me personally, the most important thing, because I do write my own projects as well and direct and act in a bunch of them, but I think it's important to tell the stories as an actor or a writer that resonate with you. I think Hollywood and American culture is so caught up in the grind of you have to have this many IMDb credits and you have to have this much experience, or you have to be on 10,000 sets, or whatever the case is with everyone. It's always wanting a specific number, and it's never really about doing what you love and what rings true to you and what resonates with you. And I feel like that's the whole reason I wound up on that set, was because I read the scene and it struck something in me. It resonated with me. I recognized that girl in me. And yes, it's awesome if you can book a bunch of things and you can be on a bunch of sets and have a bunch of experience. But if you're on these sets and it's not resonating with you, and you're not like feeling the character or the writing, and it's just not hitting home with you personally, then it's going to come across as fake, and it's going to come across as like filling it in, phoning it in sort of performance, no matter what role you're in on that set. So if I were to give one piece of advice, is really pay attention to what you're drawn to, really pay attention to what inspires you, what lights your fire, and follow that. Don't follow the number, don't follow the accolades, because at the end of the day, the thing that excites you the most is going to be the thing you're most proud of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well said. My co-host, Drew Pearson, one of our NFL greats, caught the Hail Mary, the original Hail Mary. We all know the term now. But we love to ask people their Hail Mary moment, which is that moment in your life or career where you just kind of had to go for it and it worked out for you. What do you suppose that was for each of you?
I would argue that it would be this film for me.
Yeah.
Easy answer. Gosh, I mean, there's so many things, but as an actor, I tell people all the time, because I've been getting a lot of praise recently for my growth in my acting and my writing and directing. But I give a lot of credit to being on Robin's set, because having that experience and being on set for that many days, and we didn't live out of our homes. Like, we didn't get to come home every day and talk about set. We just went back to our space that we were staying in. We were in like a little hotel room Airbnb vibe. Mm-hmm. And that totally changes how you are as a person and as an actor. And I am so grateful. Like, even though when I look back and I'm like, man, that was the hardest set I've been on, but it was the most rewarding and I felt like the closest with my team. That to me is my Hail Mary because of what we learned and all of the things happening on set that made it difficult, and the times where things weren't so smooth, but then also the times when things were really smooth. It taught me so many valuable tools and life lessons. And we're #1 on Amazon right now for LGBTQ,
Yeah.
which is incredible, like such an honor. So it's getting the eyes, but also it's, you know, giving us the experience, and you can't trump, you know. It's what makes you who you are and how you learn going forward.
This isn't the most well said answer, but I'm just gonna pick it up.
You got it.
Say exactly the same. Could have said it better myself.
Oh, you can. I got tongue tied. You could say it way better than me.
This was your moment, and I'm here for it.
I love that. How about for you, Robin?
For me, it would definitely be my first feature film, which was Girl Lost. I had, as I mentioned earlier, been an actress for many, many years, and always wanted to create my own project, and went for it, and had to do a Kickstarter campaign, and you know, beg, borrow, and steal, and I mean that was just truly an amazing experience, and opened it changed my life. Honestly, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. It was really hard, but really amazing, and proved to me that my dreams of being a writer and being a director and a producer and all the things that I dreamed of in my life could happen with the dedication and hard work and never giving up and all those things that people talk about that are true. You just got to keep going and keep going, and all the naysayers, just, you know, put them to the wayside, because I can't tell you how many times people have told me you cannot do this, you'll never make it. I mean, and here we are. This is my third feature, and you know, it's been successful, and it's an amazing journey. So that's absolutely my Hail Mary, is that movie.
Yeah,
Did everyone freeze again?
It
did I
did for a
freeze
second,
again?
but the audio kept going.
Okay.
So
Okay, I'm so sorry. I don't know what's going on here.
no, you're fine. But but part of that, you know, is that determination, or oh, there she goes. She'll come back in a second. That determination or that mindset, you know, that you have to kind of, you know, just keep going when things are tough. Is there something that each of you tell yourself that kind of keeps you on the right path? You know, you know you're doing the right thing, you know, but knowing you're doing the right thing, is there something you say to yourself that kind of lets you continue on that path?
Yeah, I don't know if it's like a specific phrase. I think it depends on the
Mm-hmm.
day, but I definitely feel like something that I carried with me on set was, it wasn't even really a phrase. It was just, you have this moment. It's your moment because we're living in our own perspective, and to make the best of it. So that way later on, you'll look back and be proud at what you did. And I know it's not technically like a phrase or like a common thing, but I think finding something that you can hold with you, no matter what it is, depending on the day, to help get you through the hardships. And they weren't short hours on set. Like, there were some nights where we were up till 4 a.m. shooting because we needed it to be dark, and we didn't start till 4 p.m. So just those little fortune cookies of knowledge to keep yourself warm when you're cold, or full when you're hungry, or awake when you're tired, just to keep living in your dream and keep remembering like what your end goal is and what you're passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. You need that reason why. Like, why you want to show up, why you want to stay, why you want to put yourself through something that's not easy. And it's a part of your story of like where you come from and like what drives you, and also like where you want to be and what stories you want to tell. And so if you don't have an answer to that, things are going to be so much harder, and the days are going to be so much longer. But like when you do have it, it makes it fun and enjoyable because you're doing what you're here to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Robin, you have anything that you think about?
I actually missed the question because I my computer dropped
Oh
out for
yeah.
a second. So
Oh, no problem. I was just
sorry.
saying, just staying in that right mindset that kind of keeps you on that right path, even when things are tough. Is there something you kind of tell yourself or something you keep in mind?
Well, that's so hard because there are so many times, especially in this business, because there's definitely more loses than there are wins for sure.
Hmm.
There's so much rejection. So you have to just believe, when I was a little girl, my dad gave me an index card that said, believe in yourself and act on that belief. And I've sort of lived by that. Whenever I think about quitting or wanting to give up, that's what I do. I have to believe in myself and act on that belief. And, um, again, none of us would be sitting here if we believed in the failures. So, you got to keep that mindset. It's definitely difficult. There are days that I'm just like, I do not want to do this anymore. But then the next day I'm like, okay, I can do this. You almost have to be crazy, I think.
I like to call
I
it
love,
Delulu.
Yeah, Delulu. That's Dare's
yeah.
new podcast,
Commit to
but it
the
is
bit.
Delulu. You have to be Delulu for sure. A lot of
Yeah.
it.
I love that. And then of course, people will watch this and they have been watching it and it's interesting to see that people get different things out of it based on their life experiences or what they've been through or, maybe currently what they're going through. So what is it besides, oh yeah, that they really enjoyed it as entertainment? What are you hoping that they'll get out of it, and talk about and think about and discuss afterwards?
I love that it is very similar in the sense of very picturesque moments as the
Hmm.
current film Saltburn, because
Yeah.
all you have to say is one word, bathtub scene, and we all know exactly what scene, but we have a bathtub scene that is
Yeah.
equally iconic. So to me, my favorite thing is that people can type in what their favorite scene is without going too far in depth, or like they'll pick my brain, like what was it like filming this scene? And it doesn't even take a lot of description for me to know exactly what scene they want to know. So for me personally, I love when people that watch the film, they also have cemented in their minds, next time they see, an orange slice, they'll think of our film. Or next time they happen to see a nurse, maybe they'll think about, like, gosh, I remember seeing a movie about a nurse and she went through a lot, so maybe I'll be kinder. It's those small little seeds that you plant in visual art, but also in just like the film itself, that you take with you, and you won't forget those moments, and it'll take you back instantly. So I'm always excited when fans or admirers of the film want to chat about certain scenes, and we can just pick up and talk about it, and I know exactly what they're trying to get at. It's really fun.
Hmm.
Yeah, I also, even going back to like the nurse comment, which is completely like true, that like there's like so many aspects of the film that touch on like like assumptions that you'd make about someone. And
Hmm.
as you go through these characters, not everything you should take at face value. And I love that that's a message that seems to be like I don't know, like widely received and also like accepted, and that like yeah, like there's so much more than what you just like present to the world. It can be like social media, like the world that like Dare's character presents online isn't anywhere close to what she's experiencing in real life. And I love that like people are able to see that and just like see how that also applies to even like individual small things, such as like, oh, this person's like Instagram feed is like so curated, and while it's like great, it's not everything, and there is more to that person, good and bad.
Hmm. Robin?
And so we're talking about what the takeaway is that
Yeah. Hmm.
for me, the thing that comes to mind, and I think my mind changes a lot with this answer, but right now is that in this moment is that everyone wants to be loved, and we all want to be liked and cared for, and sometimes you get into these relationships that are so damaging and you stay because you think you're going to change the person or you think things are going to get better, um, and they do or they don't. Usually they don't. And we watch this journey of these two young women who both just want that love. And I think for me, I'd love for people to realize that they're not alone in that journey, that this is coming from a real place, that people go through these experiences. And just because, you know, maybe you got dumped by somebody and it was a horrible experience, it happens to everybody, you know, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, last thing then, of course, you know, after this, I can't wait to see what each of you are going to do next. What do you got? What do you each have coming up, even if it's not in this world?
Well, for me, well, first I've got to control these animals that keep shaking the computer. I'm so sorry. um, I am working on A Girl Lost 3, so that's
Good.
exciting. And I'm writing something similar to this, similar themes. So right now I'm just writing, and hopefully we'll be shooting in the spring and just keep moving forward.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I have an upcoming project with a very, very talented screenwriter and director named Edward Hill. He's done a lot of the DC comic shows, and I'm really excited. He's amazing to work with, and can't talk too much about it, but I'm really excited for what's ahead.
Good.
I have a short film that I wrote, produced, and starred in that is currently being edited and will be in film festivals. So I'm excited to do the film festival route for a little bit, pulling the old Margot Robbie route, seeing how that
Yeah.
I have two big projects that I'm already slated to do for big picture companies, so I can't really get into that, but I'm very excited and honored to have landed some upcoming work. I have a super silly podcast that's coming out on February 19th. So if you want to get to know me, pick my brain a little bit more. It's a really fun concept. It's about being Delulu, which is a fun segue from what Robin mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
And other than that, more to come.
Good. Well, I love it. Well, congratulations to all of you for putting this together and you know, all the good feedback. You know, it's making an impression and everything that you've got coming up. We're gonna stay on top of it. Look forward to talking to each of you again soon.
Awesome.
Thank
Thanks,
you so
Paul.
Okay,
much.
wonderful.
Thanks,
Thank you
ladies.
so much. All right,
Okay.
appreciate you guys. All right,
All
bye-bye.
right. Bye.